What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Hey, thank y'all so much, man. I got one more for y'all. I gotta do. Well, thank y'all so much for checking out the music and all this stuff. Man, I got a terrible Uncle Mike got a terrible filing system, man. I can't never find nothing. When it's time to do what I do. Anyway, check it out, man. Hey, Diddy's new even darker charges are coming as bail is denied and he remains in jail forever. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. It's too cold in here. Hey, check it out, man. Real talk. I think one side of me, because I don't know the law and stuff like that and everything, but I just get this feeling. I be getting these feelings, man. And I really, really think that the judge didn't deny him bail because he's staying long enough. And then when they sentenced him, he was going to get time served. But I don't think that's the case. And right after we play this song, man, I'm going to show y'all or tell y'all what I think is going to happen. And then we're going to get into the video. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I can't believe all this happening. Check it out, man.
I can't believe Diddy locked in a cell, tunnels under his house and he can't make bail. Neighbors scared stiff, won't retrieve they ball. If it bounce over Diddy gate, they don't call. Ain't no doorbell ringing, ain't no fence climbing. They say the devil dance quiet when the stars are lining. Talk in the street about basements with screams, where the silence too loud and the truth still bleed. Lawyer walks off, said the case too thick. Even his mama on IV drip sick. Trying to detox demon while praying on lies. But you can't cleanse blood when it drips from the sky. I can't believe I saw the twins in the pews, eyes wide shut trying to dodge daddy's news. Courtroom silence when they walking slow. I felt the shame hit the floor like a soul on the go. They say he comfy now, sheets folded neat. Other inmates doing favors just to eat. He's still moving like a mobile with a plan. But God don't blink, the karma hits like a fan. Cases dropping daily, names ain't redacted. One brave soul said, nah, I ain't masking. I'm not anonymous, I'm proud with the pen. Said you're gonna remember this truth again and again. I can't believe Diddy was found not guilty, but the vibe in the room still felt filthy. Face to face, I ain't flinch or shake. I told him what you did to that girl was a damn disgrace. I can't believe Diddy was found not guilty, but the vibe in the room still felt filthy. Face to face, I ain't flinch or shake. I told him what you did to that girl was a damn disgrace. I can't believe.
That's going to be my favorite one right there, man. I can't believe. Shit. Woo, I think that's going to be my favorite one right there. Oh, my God. I can't believe. I cannot believe that this dude. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. I can't believe that it is so many people trying to tell me what to do on my channel. I can't believe. I think go right there. That's what I think. You know, I ain't trying to toot my own horn. But anyway, check this out, man. I think more charges coming. That's what I think. I think more charges is coming. And I think the judge know that more charges is coming and they got more stuff. There's something strong that's keeping them judges for giving him bail. And it ain't them 3 charges. He beat the charges, dog. He should be getting bail by now if you're looking at it like that. But the judge is looking at a bigger picture. It's something that's telling him not to give this man bail because he ain't gonna come back. Because he know if the judge know and the agents know and Diddy know and Diddy team know. So with that being said, there's something that's keeping him. So I'm thinking that the judge is going to give Diddy around 5 years. Now, let's say 5 years, right? 1 year already served. Take another year off for good behavior if he don't get in trouble while he in jail. So the FBI got 3 years to come up with more charges. I think everybody will be happy with that. Now, the people want him to go to jail for life. They're the only ones that ain't going to be happy. But fair is fair. He beat 3 charges, right? I think this is what the judge is going to do. This is what I think. This is my prediction, y'all. I think that he going to get around 5 years some kind of way with some wiggle room. And he probably do 3. Well, I'm going to give you 5 years. I can hit the judge now. Boom. 5 years. You already did 1 year, and that's why you still was in jail. You still starting from the time you was in jail. You already did 1 year, so you got 4 years. Now, if you have good behavior, then take a year off. So now you got 3. So let's see what my man got to say. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. I can't believe. Let's check it out.
Another indictment coming. There has to be. Now, here's the reality. The fact that bail was denied and with the explanation that the judge gave, there is only one possible scenario for why. And it goes beyond just someone made a phone call. Okay. There's another case coming. There's another indictment coming. There has to be. Otherwise, doesn't make any sense. And I'll explain to you exactly why right now. All right. So I went live immediately upon finding out that Diddy had his bail denied. And what you got in that live stream, if you watched it, was just my immediate thoughts based on basically only the fact that I found out that they had denied his bail after obviously understanding what he had been convicted of. So I've had, 16 hours to sit and actually think a lot about this, about why I feel the way that I do and why I believe that I have like good thoughts here to share with everybody to make people understand why or how I think people should be looking at this. Okay. Now, when I'm going to do a video about something that I know a lot of my viewers will disagree with, I always feel like I need to try to connect with everybody who's watching so that it's not just the people who agree with me that are like, yes, it's like, I'm trying to talk more to the people who feel another way about it. So that you can at least, you don't need to necessarily come out of this thing agreeing with me, but I just want you to understand where I'm coming from, because bottom line is, I've told you this. I've seen a video of this man beating up a girl. Like, dude, I don't have sympathy for him and his, what happens to him. Now, obviously, if it turned out the only thing he's ever done is like hit women and they were like, oh, we're going to give him the electric chair, I might be like, whoa. Okay, like, hang on. Now, if he did this every single day, it was a constant thing and he was constantly hurting people, I'm like, the only thing this guy exists to do is to hurt people. Sure, whatever. But that's not what I'm talking about. Mostly what I'm telling you is like, I don't have sympathy for Diddy specifically. That is not where any of this comes from. Where this comes from is an understanding of how societies are supposed to function, and where we get into extremely, extremely dicey territory. Okay, I actually think this is that big of a deal. Okay, I think this is that big of a deal because it's the exact same mechanism that was applied very recently within the last few years, which led to an outcome in the most recent election, which has had absolutely thermonuclear impact across the globe, right? I think it's pretty, fair to say that had the election gone the other way, we would be in a very different world right now, okay? Obviously, there are a lot of people who think that'd be better, and most of us think that it would not be better, But it's neither here nor there, okay? Because here's what's actually going on. So Diddy gets convicted of the Mann Act, which means transporting someone across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, okay? He gets acquitted of sex trafficking. He gets acquitted of RICO, racketeering. Okay. So bottom line is, right, when he was being held absent bail, it was because he was facing life in prison. It was because he was a flight risk. He's this incredibly wealthy person and all of that stuff. And supposedly he might be tampering with witnesses. That's what they said. Okay. Now, I've said from the beginning that if you're not paying attention to why what the origin of this case actually is, then you can't understand what you're really looking at, right? Because the origin of this case, no one is going to convince me that I'm wrong. Now, I'm not saying I know this for 1000% certain, but what I'm saying is if you put my hand on the table and you're like, all right, this is like the scene in Casino and we're going to break all your fingers in your hand if you're wrong, I would immediately say, this is happening because of what happened between Diddy and Diageo. And me crying is happening because you haven't subscribed to my channel and you haven't liked this video yet. Okay? Diddy bit the hand that fed him in a way that you do not do. Okay? What these people are, these BlackRock guys, Vanguard guys, and I feel like I say these things and some people might not really understand what we're saying. We're not just talking about these people are wealthy, they're not wealthier than Diddy. These groups, Vanguard and BlackRock, own 95% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world. They own everything. Okay. They own everything. Now, I'm not saying they own it outright, but they are, the incredibly large shareholders in all of the biggest companies in the world. Okay. They run everything. Okay. Everything. If you own 10% of a Fortune 500 company, the influence that you have over that organization, you can't even exaggerate. I mean, you can't do anything without their say so. Okay. They have voting rights, all of that stuff. They're always on the board. They're always on the board of these companies and they're kingmakers. Okay. That is what they are. That is why you see such consistent opinions from people who are in Hollywood, who are music artists, where you're like, where is someone who's willing to say this thing that seems very obvious? Like, as an example, that women should not be competing against men in sports. Like, where were all of the bigwig people just coming out against this that could have shut this down in 1 second? Where are all the big entertainers? They all have brains. And the reason why none of them say it is because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. It's the reason that they none of them came out against, these mandates. None of them came out against, this thing. None of them, right? And you're like, where are they? There's no way that there's none of them who don't, none of them have questions about this. It's because they don't want to step out of line with those guys, because those guys own Pfizer. Those guys own Moderna. Those guys own the entire process. Okay. We're talking about the exact same people. And those guys own Diageo, and they made Diddy into a king. All right. Bottom line, Diddy was made by these people. And Diddy had been a good partner to them throughout the last 25, 30 years, however long they had been in this partnership. Okay. So if you guys remember Ciroc vodka, we're going to go over this really, really quickly so that we are all on the same page about what just happened yesterday. Okay. Diddy had made he had made hundreds of millions of dollars through his partnership with Ciroc. Okay.
Check this out.
And it was a revenue share. They had this vodka that wasn't doing very well. They put Diddy on. They're like, we don't know what to do with this thing. We'll split any profits that are generated above what we're doing right now. We'll split with you, right? It was like a throwaway thing because they're like, whatever, it's all upside for us. And Diddy crushed it so hard with that partnership that he ended up making hundreds of millions of dollars. They enabled that. Okay, they are the ones who enabled that. They get into a second partnership with him, but this time they co-own a tequila brand. Whatever, the details don't matter. Diddy gets upset with them. Okay, Diageo is a $100 billion company. He says whatever, blah, blah, blah. He writes to them, starts threatening them. He wants $100 million from them or else, blah, 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 but whatever. Details not really super relevant for this. He says, I'm going to cry racism and I'm going to burn the house down. Okay. Now I could get into why he said that. It's irrelevant. It was still a very dishonest. What could be more dishonest than calling a company that has made a black man into a billionaire? Okay, that black man, he's a billionaire black man, and you're threatening to call them racist? What could be more dishonest than that? And then he actually did it, and he cost the company $22 billion in market value.
What makes it so bad is the company, the liquor and the alcohol company, they got to market to black people. Drink the most liquor. Or as the Spanish people drink, Mexicans drink, well, they drink more beer. They drink Coronas. But my point is they drink, especially the dark liquors, man. I don't know. But I know one thing, black people drink a lot of liquor, period. How about that?
They get into this lawsuit. They settle it January 2024, and his house gets raided 3 months later. Okay.
Why are we always playing the race card? Diggle the race card again. Damn, come to think about it. Diddy tried to play the race card. You dumb, you big dummy. Playing a race card doesn't get you anywhere. Oh, my God.
A billionaire, okay? That black man, he's a billionaire black man, and you're threatening to call them racist? What could be more dishonest than that? And then he actually did it, and he cost the company $22 billion in market value. Then they get into this lawsuit. They settle it January 2024, and his house gets raided 3 months later, okay? This is the direct result of that, in my opinion. No one's going to convince me otherwise. And now we find out what the outcome is, because bottom line is, okay, his bail being denied. Think about it like this, dude. The judge said this to him when he was when he got to the the verdicts were read. The judge said, "I assume that Mr. Combs doesn't want to go back to MDC Brooklyn, so he's intending on letting him go." Okay, then this is what happens. Okay, so let's talk about this.
Combs has been denied bail after the verdict in his sex trafficking case, and here's how he took the news. According to NBC News reporters in the courtroom, Combs appeared, quote, deflated as his hopes of going home were seemingly dashed as his lawyers attempted to convince Judge Aaron Subramanian to release their client ahead of his sentencing. In his ruling, Subramanian cited Combs' years-long pattern of violence as a reason for him to remain behind bars, adding that he continues to be a danger to others and unable to follow the law. Arguing that Combs, who pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, as well as transportation to engage in prostitution, was acquitted on the three most serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, and only convicted of prostitution-related offenses. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo insisted he should be released on appropriate conditions. As Agnifilo outlined, Combs would be willing to put up a $1 million cash bond co-signed by his mom Janice Combs, his sister Keisha Combs, and Sarah Chapman, the mother of Combs' eldest daughter Chance Combs, and have no access to his private plane, which is currently grounded in Maui. He also agreed to surrender his passport, undergo drug testing, and restrict travel to areas of New York, Florida, and California as necessary to attend court and meet with lawyers. According to NBC News, Combs was...
Bottom line, here's the bottom line, okay? When the judge says that the reason he's not letting him out is because he has proven that he is a violent threat to others, that he has shown himself to be incapable of following the law, yada, yada, yada. The reason that I can confidently say that someone stepped in and told the judge to not let him out is because the judge knows how the court system works. He knows how the legal system works. Okay, Diddy was not convicted of any violent crimes. He was acquitted of the violent crimes. Okay, he is not facing charges from any violent crimes. He has nothing as it relates to the legal system related to violence pending. Okay, now, is there a superseding indictment that's coming down the pipe? That's the only thing that I can think of. The only thing that could possibly explain what has happened is that there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that the judge knows about. That is my current theory, okay? Because the opposite, the alternative makes no sense, okay? The alternative makes no sense. Honestly, I'm actually thinking about this right now. Here are your only two options. Your only two options are the big boys called him and he said, don't let him out, because they wanted to bury him under the jail. And you can rest assured that he is going to get a harsh sentence now, a very harsh sentence. Okay. And, and again, this is all because this is coming. Oh, my Play with Matches. That's me and my wife's show. You should go follow that. The link is in the description. We actually just did a show about this also. Okay. But the bottom line is this, it's indefensible. It's indefensible to keep him locked up awaiting sentences. And you know when his sentencing is going to happen? October, July, August, September, October. So you're talking another 3.5 months in prison for what? In jail for what? Because an escort flew across the country to have sex with a hard 10. Everybody involved is a willing participant according to the jury. The jury already heard this case and they determined, okay, that they were willing participants, which means there are no victims here. None. These are victimless crimes. So How can you possibly justify it? Okay, so either they called and they were like, lock him up, okay? Like keep him in jail, and the judge did it, or there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that is going to be much more, a lot more violent stuff coming, a lot of others, which is not even close to impossible, not even remotely close to impossible.
I can see somebody big wig calling the judge or his chambers. Look here, little boy. I know you love your family and your little job and everything, but if you let him walk, you think we got real cocktail bombs over here. They really blow up cars like in the movies. I cannot believe Kid Cudi car had burnt stains. He had burnt stains inside the car and the roof cut open. He can get the car repaired. Man, that ain't no. Anyway, I was going to say something else. I don't forget. Here we go.
Superseding indictment that is going to be much more, a lot more violent stuff coming, a lot of others, which is not even close to impossible. Not even remotely close to impossible. And as a matter of fact, that is, as of this moment, my hypothesis. I can't, I literally just got there right now. Okay. So when you think about the fact, when you really get into the weeds of this thing and you think about what was in this case and what wasn't, right? Like what was in this case and what wasn't? There are all these crazy accusations that Diddy has, right? All these things that are all over the place. And the only thing involved in this was two of his ex-girlfriends. Those are the supposed victims, two of his ex-girlfriends. Think about all of the things that we've heard he's accused of. We heard he shot a guy. We heard he had Tupac murdered. We heard that he has been graping people all over the place. We heard he's been drugging people all over the place. We heard about kids at his parties. None of that stuff involved in this trial. The only thing that makes any sense is that there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that is going to include a lot of that stuff, because it's not like he was acquitted of those things. They didn't try him for those things. They didn't indict him for those things. So as of now, what my hypothesis is that there is another case coming. And while he thinks he beat this case, he didn't beat shit. He's being held. And before he even gets sentenced for this one, they're going to indict him on something else. Okay. Because again, bottom line, if these guys want you got, if they want you got, you're getting got, dude. Okay. Like they did this trial. Think about this. This whole trial was invented out of nothing. Like literally out of nothing. I mean, yeah, you have the video of him beating up Cassie for sure. But I mean, like in terms of sex trafficking, it was absurd, ludicrous. And you're telling me that there are no other cases that they could make out of all these other people who are willing to testify against him? There's tons of people who despise him that would testify against him in 1 second. You know what I mean? So the reality is like,
Lil Rod Jr.
Now, as of this moment, if I had to bet on what's coming for Puff, it's another case. It's another case. And another case that will drop on him before October when he's sentenced. So those are my honest thoughts, dude. I mean, honestly, I think that's what's happening, because, and if not, even still, he's still going to get, I mean, he could face up to 10 years in prison for each count of the Mann Act, which is absurd. I mean, that is so crazy. I want you to seriously think about this. Okay. If you guy, okay, let's say guy, right? Or girls, whatever. Like, let's say you're single and you're going to Las Vegas and you have a lot of money and you're like, man, you know what would be great is if I don't feel like making a whole thing. I don't want to go to the clubs and like try to meet a girl or whatever. I just want to know for sure that I'm going to have a beautiful woman to spend the night with while I'm there. That's all I want, dude. And so you look through whatever sources that you have, you go on the internet or you call somebody who knows a service or whatever. And you look, you go online and you look at the website and it's a girl who's an escort. And she's like, here are my pictures, here are my rates, and you call her and you're like, so yeah, I'm coming into town. What I would love to do is I would like to do an overnight. She's like, okay, that's $7,000. He's like, okay, cool. Like that's cool. Let's do that. And I guess, so I'll call you when I get there. Yeah. Call me when you get there. We'll plan for whatever. You fly to I take that back. They would need to come to you. So you're like, I'll be in Las Vegas and that person's in Scottsdale. And so you go to Vegas, you fly them from Scottsdale, and they're going to spend the night with you in Las Vegas. You guys are obviously planning to have sex with each other. And like, you're telling me that you deserve 10 years in prison for that? Who's the victim? Like, who's the victim there? Why would you possibly deserve 10 years in prison for that? You're not cheating on anyone. Not that is illegal anyway, but you are participating in a completely willing exchange of goods and services. This is what this person does for a living. It's a beautiful girl. You're obviously a wealthy person if you're willing to spend that amount of money for one night with a girl. Everybody's happy. Everybody walks away happy. Why on earth would we take a person like that? Because I feel like people don't think that it's us doing this, okay? Like it's us. When you like, oh, we're going to put them in prison. It's not them putting them in prison. It's us putting them in prison. We are the ones who set the rules, okay? Like collectively. Does that make sense? Is that a worthwhile is that a worthwhile use of our legal system? Some rich guy wants to hire some beautiful girl who's down to go hang out and have sex with a rich guy for that amount of money? Like, that's exactly what this is, except it's even worse because it's a dude that's getting hired. It's absurd. Okay, there's no reason that he should be in jail unless he is facing another charge, which is highly likely. Anyway, that's what I got for this video. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
I'm going to tell you why I believe what he's saying. It's some higher ups, because there was 2 times that the judge kind of gave Diddy some hope. The judge gave Diddy some hope. Remember that time when the last time he was trying to go for bail, and the judge said, well, I'm going to take all this information and I'm going to go over it over the weekend, and then I'm going to make my decision. That was foul. That was real foul, because that gave Diddy hope for the whole weekend. Can you imagine you being like, I don't know, you go get a spanking and your mom say, go to your room, or your dad say, go to your room, and while I think about what your punishment gonna be. It don't even gotta be a spanking. You be like, damn. They might come back with a whole week. Nah, they probably just do 2 hours or the whole weekend. Shoot. One time I got in trouble, I was on punishment for a whole month. You don't know. So that's going on in his mind, like, am I gonna make bail? He said it wasn't no. So I think he gonna say yes. Gave him hope. And I think it was a 3-day weekend, because they didn't come back Monday. They came back on a Tuesday and said no. And now when he jumped back on that stand and said, you want to go home, don't you? If I was Diddy, like, hell no, I don't want to go home. Who want to go home? Especially to my home. I got a big $1 million home. What kind of question is that to ask? And then you turn around and said, no, that ain't right. That ain't right. Just get that man his sentencing, man, and let that man be what he think about what he did. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion, man. That's Uncle Mike's opinion. Hey, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Y'all tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.